on a report seeking to govern the activities of refugees in the report prohibits refugees from engaging in any activities that tend to undermine the government and how asylum seekers will be treated before being admitted to the status of refugees. The report of the Committee on Human Rights and Humanitarian Affairs also provides for the stripping of refugee status on those found to have infringed the Convention for purposes of prosecution. Oyet Patrick reports.
Deliberated on a report seeking to govern the activities of refugees in the country. The convention governing the specific aspects of refugee problems in Africa 1969 prohibits refugees from engaging in any activities that tend to undermine the government and how asylum seekers will be treated before being admitted to the status of refugees. The report of the Committee on Human Rights and Humanitarian Affairs also provides for the stripping of refugee status on those found to have infringed the Convention for purposes of prosecution. The report also mandates the country to provide refugees with travel documents in accordance with the United Nations Convention unless compelling reasons of national security or public order has been cited. Once adopted, the country will then be able to address the plight of refugees and seek a solution to their problem. Reinforce the operations of the UNHCR in mobilizing international support and funds for refugees. The country has already enacted the Refugees Act 2012, which now domesticates the convention to deal with the refugees, and the aspects of the convention have already been addressed by the Transitional Constitution of South Sudan, which includes full legal protection. Oyet Patrick, SSTV News.
South Sudan Electricity Corporation is owed over 29 million South Sudanese pounds in unpaid electricity bills. In a meeting of a Cabinet Technical Subcommittee on the Economy, the Undersecretary in the Ministry of Electricity, Lawrence Laku, said the non-payment of the bills had drastically affected the operations of Juba Power. The subcommittee recommended to the Cabinet for an additional 1.35 million euros for the purchase of 2 generators in the next supplementary budget expected in January 2014.
South Sudan Electricity Company is owed over 29 million South Sudanese pounds in unpaid electricity bills. In a meeting of a Cabinet Technical Subcommittee on the Economy, the Undersecretary in the Ministry of Electricity, Lawrence Laku, said the non-payment of the bills has dealt a big blow to the operations of Juba Power. The subcommittee recommended to the Cabinet for an additional 1.35 million euros for the purchase of 2 generators in the next supplementary budget expected in January 2013. The technical team had met to map out ways on how electricity in Juba town can be made sustainable. Laku said lack of adequate power supply in Juba has been caused by inadequate funds, and there will be need to increase power tariff to mitigate the budget shortfall. The Undersecretary said South Sudan Water Corporation can generate enough revenue if customers pay for the bills, and this will pave way for the purchase of fuel, spare parts, and maintenance of the generators, expansion of generation capacity and distribution network to enable many customers have access to electricity.
Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Barnaba Marial Benjamin says the government is taking tough measures against the perpetrators who raided 3 cattle camps in Twitch East County, killing 79 people and wounding dozens more. Dr. Benjamin said the killing amounted to a massacre and the attackers will not be allowed to escape justice.
The disaster on Sunday, where the young militia group actually attacked defenseless civilians who were already fighting to survive out of the floods, and I think the Honorable seized that opportunity of the people suffering and they attacked them, of which about 79 people were killed and many others wounded. We condemned it very strongly. There is no genuine movement of the people that turns on its own people and kills them. I think that is unacceptable. The government will take some strong measures as far as possible in order to put an end to this senseless killing of innocent citizens.
If you have just joined us, you're watching South Sudan Television coming to you live from Juba. And to continue with, the National Investment Authority today held a meeting with a visiting delegation from Botswana to market available opportunities in the country. The Undersecretary for Commerce, Elizabeth Majok, hailed the team from Botswana for showing interest to invest in the country, mainly on areas dealing with agriculture and telecommunication.
National Investment Authority today held a meeting with a visiting delegation from Botswana to market available opportunities in the country. The Undersecretary for Commerce, Elizabeth Majok, hailed the team from Botswana for showing interest to invest in the country, mainly on areas dealing with agriculture and communication, saying such forums will stimulate other countries to come and seek investment opportunities in the country.
Organized and invited the business communities to interact with the Botswana business people, to have business-to-business meetings so that they share the experiences. Also, they learn from the business people. They will get information from the government and also from the business, because this is the target where they will come and have business in those areas. So we hope that we'll do our best to sell the information we have. And also we have informed them about the South Sudan Investment Conference which is coming, and we hope we see them coming back for that so that they get more information on that particular area. We have heard that this particular visit is a result of the visit of our President, Salva Kiir, when he went to Botswana and extend the invitation for the business communities down there. And we're happy for the response coming to South Sudan to come and see by themselves.
The ambassador of Botswana to South Sudan and Kenya, John Mote, said the delegation is touring the country to explore areas they pump in money and have Botswana benefit from the various untapped resources in the country.
Hearing about the infrastructure development challenges, we are hearing about the opportunities and the great potential your country has in many areas, whether it's mining, whether it's agriculture, whether it's in many other services, e.g. ICT. And we have now just appreciated a few success stories of the business people and indeed companies from East Africa, from South Africa, that have set up shop here and are already realizing very good returns. Ours, and indeed the private sector of Botswana, is not just about coming to South Sudan and saying we can make money. Our governments have defined a very important bilateral cooperation program in which Botswana has committed to play a very significant role in hand-holding South Sudan to develop to the level where we are. Indeed, there are many things that we can exchange, many good lessons, and I think the relationship is going to be growing stronger every year.
Jackie Darrow, SSTV.
And police in Juba have impounded over 200 vehicles and motorcycles for flouting traffic rules. The vehicles were nabbed during a crackdown that was mounted by traffic police along the streets of Juba. The intercepted vehicles had tinted windscreens, no logbooks or unregistered. The Deputy Inspector General of Police, Lieutenant General Andrew Kwol, says most vehicles are flouting traffic rules, which have led to the increase of road accidents in the city. More in the following report.
Impounded over 200 vehicles and motorcycles for flouting traffic rules. The vehicles were nabbed during a crackdown that was mounted by traffic police along the streets of Juba. The intercepted vehicles had tinted windscreens, no logbooks, or unregistered. The Deputy Inspector of Police, Lieutenant General Andrew Kwol, says most vehicles are operating as if they are in a jungle, which has led to the increase of road accidents in the city.
أي عربية ماشي بدون نمرة يخبطوا حتى ولو عربية بتاعت منو يخبطوا أي عربية ماشي بنمرة مؤقت في نمر مؤقت بدو في حدود النمر ديل مفروض إنه بعد ما عربية تصل لمحل المفروض يتركز فوقه يمشي ويتركز فورا. لكن ناس مستغلين كلام ده وعربية بيمشي سنة كامل سنتين بنمرة مؤقت. من الليلة ده ما في أي عربية ناس الحركة يقبض أي عربية ماشي بنمرة مؤقت.
During the crackdown, some vehicles were found to have similar number plates or using plates of other registered vehicles. Police are now appealing to locals to report any suspicious vehicle to authorities for action, warning that the crackdown will continue across the country.
برضو ده وقت مناسب عشان أوجه كلام ده لكل مدراء بتاعت الولايات بتاعت حركة المرور. بين نفس الحكاية بنعمل في جوبا يتنفذ في 10 ولايات.
The traffic police are also warning that no vehicle will be allowed to operate in the country with foreign number plates without any proper documentation. Jackie Darrow, SSTV.
And the government is against any form of child labor in whatever nature. The Undersecretary in the Ministry of Labor, Helen Achiro Lotara, says child labor has been outlawed in the country and is banned by International Labour Organization, which the country is a signatory and therefore will not be condoned. The Undersecretary made the remarks after touring Suksita in Juba, where an explosion killed 5 people last week.
The government is against any form of child labor in whatever nature as it amounts to child exploitation. The Undersecretary in the Ministry of Labor, Helen Achiro, says child labor has been outlawed in the country and is banned by the International Labour Organization, which the country is a signatory and therefore will not be condemned. The Undersecretary made the remarks after touring Suksita in Juba, where an explosion killed 5 people last week.
Asan ina fi wukita harde kulu fi hadidat tanin mufajirat al yani ma kwais kan jena ala bumo bifajir o bikatulu je asil hina wana mutaasif jiddan fi ajata al asil وكده إنا كله جني مسؤول أسا إنا يعني في مكتب عمل في يعني قانون تعمل أسا ده بيجا رسوله في بلمان كان خلاص نفسه بيجا تلا قانون يعني أجاد كله إنا بيسرق ما ناس كله أسا ناس كله بيعرفوا أسا المسؤولية ده ما مسؤولية تا مكتب عمل بس لكن مسؤولية فتنا كلنا.
Achiro says her ministry, in collaboration with the International Labour Organization and other stakeholders, is in the process of preparing a list of harmful tasks that cannot be performed by children, and the public will soon inform. She said the responsibility of eradicating child labor is not only the prerogative of the government, but a collective with all stakeholders. The Director General for Labor and Industrial Relations, Clement Primo, said the victims of the explosion were collecting scratch mental for sales and call on parents to be vigilant and not allow their children engage in such dangerous practices.
They're telling the public not to send the children to work where they are supposed to go to school, because school is actually an investment that will help that parent, that mother. If you leave your children and you suffer for the few years. But if your child is succeeding in the school and get a certificate, the child will get a better work and begin to help you. But you also struggle as a mother, doing something very little and just leave your child to go.
Reporting for SSTV News in Juba, I am Henry Jada John.
The advisor in the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Vivian Kakule, says the ministry has gone out flat-foot to improve education standards in the country. Kakule made the remarks in a workshop organized by the ministry to explore ways to improve the wanting quality of education in the country, calling on participants to translate skills acquired into action to better service delivery. This and more stories in the news roundups for this evening.
In the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Vivian Kakule, says the ministry has gone out flat-foot to improve education standards in the country. Kakule made the remarks in a workshop organized by the ministry to explore ways to improve the wanting quality educations in the country, calling on the participants to translate skills acquired into actions to better service delivery.
The importance of this workshop can be summarized in two. We are bringing you here to brainstorm on the policy document, the zero draft of the Directorate of Technical and Technological Higher Education. And secondly, we need your inputs on the strategic plan of the Directorate, which is at the zero draft, just developed by the Director General. Your technical inputs are very paramount. The importance of these documents cannot be overemphasized, as it is the lifeline for the Directorate and the country at large.
Meanwhile, the Cooperative Bank of South Sudan has commenced its operations in the country. The Deputy Minister for Agriculture, Lilian Albino Cole, said the operations of the bank is long overdue. Albino made the remarks in a meeting with the Board of Directors of the Cooperative Bank of South Sudan.
And on our part as a ministry, we promised the board that all the pending issues that should be resolved, we will do them sooner so that the bank can start operating fully. We are very excited and look at the prospect of the bank in strengthening our people in the rural areas. And in the next few days, we will be working together, the Board of Directors and the bank management, and also the cooperative and rural development departments in the ministry to finalize the regulations and to encourage our population in the rural areas to form into cooperatives, and this will be done, of course, by sharing the rules and regulations that we are working on now in setting up cooperatives.
The bank is jointly owned by the government of South Sudan, which has 49% shares, and the Cooperative Bank of Kenya, which owns 51% shares. The chairperson of the Cooperative Bank of South Sudan, Dr. Susan Donato Deng, said the bank will catch up with its competitors and will offer financial support mainly to the agricultural sector.
Discuss a little bit about the way forward and the different and the various products that the bank is offering in terms of cooperative banking, universal banking, because the bank is for everybody. The bank is for cooperatives, it's for individuals, it's for businesses. We have a universal banking model that we are offering as well. Thank you.
Elsewhere, Nimule Town Council has been inaugurated. The newly appointed town clerk, David Eriga, and his deputy, Moses Odwar, took over office and will be tasked with overseeing the affairs of the rapidly growing border town. The Commissioner of Magui County, Francis Oketa Okech, who witnessed the inauguration, applauded the government of Eastern Equatoria for the wise decision to upgrade the border town to a council.
Tonight, we are going to see what we can do together with the town club before we go and meet the governor tomorrow.
Endo, amatoduka koreko, matown calculate amari bru, taridere wa mi amiri, upang metown dinipi, amata vore opo, ta adu toriga governor inderekoi.
The word of wisdom from retired teacher Festo fully, he make a good remark.
For SSTV News, Martin Jerry Gabriel.
That's all we had for you from our news desk. On behalf of the team at work this evening, I'm Rejoice saying thanks for joining us and good night.